If you held a gun up to my head and told me that next year I had to become a real estate agent and make six figures in a year or else you would shoot me, here is the exact step by step game plan that I would do to be able to accomplish this. Hands down, no questions asked. Hi, everybody. My name is Ziki. I'm the owner of Self Fast Photo. And for the past 5 years, I've been helping many real estate agents throughout Tampa Bay accomplish this goal of making six figures or more, actually. In fact, a lot of the clients I work with make well into the six-figure range and have teams of their own. Today in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the entire strategy, step by step, the whole strategy as to how these successful agents do it. And in fact, I'm not just going to be breaking down the strategy. I'm going to be actually showing you guys what exactly I would do from start to finish, including my entire funnel, my lead funnel, along with how I would brand myself and how I would go about doing this the right way. And this, if it's followed correctly, I can guarantee you pretty much, if you follow this step by step to the T, right, which is something very easy that you can do because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I can guarantee you're going to make six figures. I can also guarantee you're not going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars working with a media company. I can guarantee you're not going to be spending thousands of dollars working with lead generation systems. You're not going to be spending thousands blowing money on Yelp ads or Google ads. You're not going to be spending thousands on Zillow Premier Agent or anything like that, but rather you are going to do it the right way to be able to build a brand for yourself on social media that you can scale from year to year and be able to generate leads on autopilot. That means your leads will continue coming in even if you stop running ads, even if you stop, you could stop even posting for a week or two and people will still message you. And it will show you basically how to set yourself up to have more than just being an agent, right? You don't just sell houses or help buyers buy houses. You are actually a brand. So let's dig right into it. We're going to start off right here on branding. So, what is branding? So, basically branding, when you think of it, a lot of folks, they think of, okay, it's a logo, it's a typeface, it's a few colors, maybe it's the brokerage you work for, you take their colors and logo and all that. That's not what branding is. Branding is who you are and how people recognize you. So yes, obviously this is colors. You see me either in a red or a black shirt usually, and it is how people recognize you. It is your logo, it is your colors. However, it's more than just that. It's who you are. So who are you? What do you do? It's not just that I'm not just I don't just make videos for realtors. I help realtors get leads in Tampa Bay. It's very specific. And as an agent, you need to have something very specific as well. Why do you need to do this? Well, it's very difficult in the modern world with information overload to stand out. There are hundreds, and I mean probably thousands of real estate agents in the Tampa Bay area and hundreds of thousands, across the world. So why should you be the one to help someone buy or sell a house? The truth is that real estate agents, that job in general, to many average people, a lot of people see you guys as paper pushers. A lot of people see you as pushy salespeople, wheeler dealers, if you will, right? As a real estate agent, you are much more than that, but it is very difficult to convey this if you do not have branding. You must have branding to be able to show people, okay, I'm not just a real estate agent, I am an expert in XYZ. And that is why somebody wants to work with you. Nobody chooses you because you're a real estate agent. They will choose you because you are their friend and their mentor. You will help them through this process of buying or selling a house. So how do you figure out that your brand? Well, there's a lot that goes into figuring out your brand, and that's what we're going to be discussing in this whole video. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to act as if I am a real estate agent. I'm going to act as if I'm this guy right here, and I need to become a real estate agent in a year and make six figures, or else, boom, my head gets blown off. So we're going to get started. So we're going to start off with the 4 questions: who, what, where, and how. So basically, to the start of branding yourself is not actually understanding your branding, but rather understanding your audience. So starting with these 4 questions, it will give us the framework as to what our brand will be all about. It will give us the key elements to who we are, what we do, where is our target audience and how can we actually help them? So, starting off with who is your audience? In this case, I'm going to act like I am you. I'm going to act like a realtor and I'm going to figure out, the type of realtor that I could be to be able to market myself. Now, there's a bunch of different options here, right? You can choose to be someone who is, an expert in like military relocation. You can choose to be someone who's an expert in um I don't know, you can choose to be someone who's an expert in, like, waterfront, like, maybe you love boating, right? You can be the boating real estate expert, right? For boat owners, target boat owners. You could be someone like, you could even be someone like if you're a foodie, if you love food, you could be like a food expert, right? Tampa food expert, right? It doesn't have to be super, specific real estate related. Also, it can be very niche, right? Especially if it's some hobby that, might some people might really enjoy, but, like, others they kind of enjoy, right? Um, I don't know, like if it's something like food, like, there's some people who are gonna follow you just for the food and others who are just gonna follow you because you're, entertaining and informative. But in this case, I'm 21 years old, I'm Gen Z, so my audience is going to be Gen Z, right? So what I wanna do is I'm gonna say my audience is Gen Z first time home buyers. And why do I want to target this audience? Well, I think this is a great audience because one, Gen Z is starting to, we're starting to get a little older, right? So we're starting to get to the age where we're going to be buying houses. Now, a lot of 21-year-olds are not buying houses, but there are going to be Gen Zers very soon who are going to be buying houses. So that's why I'll choose that. But at the same time, it's niche, right? There's not a lot of people out there who represent themselves as a Gen Z expert as a realtor, right? You also have to realize this doesn't necessarily mean all your clients are going to be Gen Z. I'm sure there's a lot of millennials who relate to Gen Z more than they relate to like boomers, right? So I would be willing to bet there's a lot of millennials who will still enjoy my content, who will relate to my content, and we'll get into kind of the content that I'm going to make as a Gen Z realtor because I actually have a full plan going on with this. So, who's my audience? Gen Z, I'm going to say Gen Z first time home buyers slash sellers. I mean, younger sellers, right? So, tell me more about the audience, right? So, I'm going to say like folks who are younger slash young in spirit. So, what about this audience makes it different? Well, they have a lower income. They tend to have a lower income. So maybe I'm helping folks who have kind of a lower income and they tend to be more technology oriented, right? So, what can I offer to them that is more technologically, connected, right? They also tend to be, trendier, right? So, how can I relate to being trendy? So, what do they need help with? Well, what they need help with, for starters, is buying a home, but or I'll say slash selling a home. But more specifically, when it comes to what they need help with, right? You need to realize like obviously if you're a realtor and your audience is whoever your audience is, obviously they need help with buying slash selling a home. So you need to dig deeper, like what is this specific target audience looking for? So for example, if I was a military relocation expert, their biggest struggle is okay, every couple of years they need to relocate, so they need to buy a house that is not only close to their base and easy to move into and probably a good family house as well, but also they need a house that, well, it'll appreciate in value. It's in a good location. It'll be easy to sell in a few years if they need to sell, right? So that would be a good example if you were a military relocation expert. Obviously, going back to the example I gave earlier, if you were a agent who boats, if your expertise is boaters, then waterfront homes, pretty obvious, right? So Gen Z, what do they need help with? Well, building credit, right? So how to actually buy your first home, right? Maybe investing. Most Gen Zers who buy a home are buying it to invest just because it's not common for a lot of Gen Zers to just buy a home just to move into, right? Investing. Maybe even like types of homes good for first time home buyers, right? So maybe townhouses, right? I'm like a townhouse expert, new construction expert, it could even be. What else do they need help with? Going like broader, right? Just general Gen Z problems, right? Like you don't want to work if you're Gen Z, you like probably don't want to work with a bunch of like old boomer agents. Like you have Gen Z problems, so to speak, right? You want someone who relates to you, right? Um So these are some of the problems that they need help with, right? So what I could do, we'll do a little sneak peek later on. We'll talk about like the videos we're going to be record. But for example, you could say in one of your hooks, if you're Gen Z and you feel like home ownership is impossible, I'm going to break down exactly how by age 25 you can own a home, like something like that, right? So this is kind of your what section of your target audience, right? So let's keep on going. So where is your target audience? So this is a little more broad, right? So they could be anywhere, but determine a specific location. So normally this location is where you work. So in my case, Tampa, Florida, the best city in America. But if for example, let's say you are a relocation expert, and let's say you have experience, maybe 2 years ago, you moved to Tampa from California, right? This could be a great opportunity to say, hey, I'm an expert in moving to Tampa from California. And to be honest, there's enough people moving to Tampa from California that you could totally like market yourself as that and get a lot of leads like that, right? Because you're the only real estate agent probably in Tampa, maybe one of, two or three that is an expert in moving to Tampa from California. It's really specific, but if you trust me, as a realtor, like people look at this and they're like, oh my God, that's so specific. Like, no, it's not. If you were a realtor that marketed themselves as, hey, I will tell you everything you need to know about moving to Tampa from Idaho, or like moving to Tampa from, I don't know, New York, right? And you had every single lead, or at least 70% of leads of individuals on social media who are moving to Tampa from New York, dude, you're drowning in cash. You're drowning in cash. So don't think it's too specific. And the thing is, too, like you have to realize, even if you go specific, you still aren't it's not like you're disqualifying anybody who's not from Cal. Like if I'm moving to Tampa from Oregon and I see an agent who's an expert in moving to Tampa from California, like of course I'm going to follow them. Like if they're providing value, it makes sense, right? Oregon, California, same thing, right? They're both, liberal states. But where's your target audience, right? Figure out where they are. So in this case, I'm going to keep it broad. I'm going to say Tampa, Florida, just because it's not like Gen Z is kind of associated with a location. But I can also go more specific and say, they're interested in new construction within Tampa, Florida, right? Why? Because new construction usually is cheaper, has better incentives for, first-time home buyers, younger buyers. Maybe I could also even say like townhomes, right? So be pretty specific with where, and also be specific with where not, right? So where are we ignoring? Like out of the question. I'm not going to be showing homes in Davis Islands, okay? Like there's no Gen Zer. If you're rich enough as Gen Z to buy a home in Davis Islands, you're not moving to Davis Islands. You're going to Miami, right? So the few Gen Z, Bitcoin kids who got rich, they're not in Davis Islands, right? So it's good to actually have the places that you're not going to do. So I'll say like Davis Island. I'll say, Tierra Verde. I'll even say like St. Pete Beach, like places that I'll even say the villages. I guess that's not really Tampa Bay, but like places that you're not going to be focusing on. This is pretty important too, because as we start to create videos and we look at the video ideas, which is coming up in just a second, we'll know where not to focus on. So yeah, let's keep going. So how are you able to help them, right? So what are you going to be able to do to help your target audience? Well, this is kind of similar to what do they need help with. So it's just basically the solution with what they need help with. So I'll even copy this, right? So we'll say step by step, like how to buy a home in the next X years, right? Because I think this is the biggest like question. Like every Gen Zer out there, all my friends, like all they discuss is, will we be able to buy a home, right? So if you, for example, like in my case, right, if I'm targeting Gen Zers, I could say, hey, as a Gen Z agent, I will give the step-by-step plan to how you can buy a home in the next 5 years, making under, and I'll say like, I don't know, under 50, I'll say under 60K a year, right? So like that would be a great example of how you can help them. So how to build credit as Gen Z, right? um how to generate passive income at the age of 21. Like, that's a great video. Like, 21-year-olds, every freaking 21-year-old right now is broke. They're all looking for that, right? And now, obviously this is, very specific to my target, audience and all that. But you can always find, like, if it's military, for example, like how you can buy a home and move into it in less than 30 days, like something like that, something that would specifically help that target audience. If you're working with, people with a yacht, like how to assess the condition of a seawall, right? Something like that, like something like very simple, very straightforward, right? Um, all that stuff, right? So this is how you are able to help them. So we'll all these things, once you fill out all these, like, who, what, where, and how, you have a good understanding of your brand, right? And then from there you can start to create videos, right? So what you want to do, you want to do a mix of four different types of videos, right? You want funny videos, which include skits, memes, and entertainment videos. You want informative videos, so for example, guides and solutions, and this needs to be the bulk. This needs to be the bulk of what you do, right? Most videos that you do should be informative videos, right? And then you need local guides, right? So that's just market updates, local guides, something you can post every now and then and say, hey, check this out, look at it. All right, move on. And then also you need your ad. This is also very, very important. You need to have a very good ad. And we'll get into that as when we get down there. But these two that I have a star next to, crucial. If you don't have these two, give up, right? You need these two. Starting with funny video. So this the opportunity for this really is just to be able to get some, like, organic following, right? Ads are good, but you have to pay for ads, and don't get me wrong, you do need to do ads in this method at least, right? And I'm going to get into that in just a second, but it's also good to have a little bit of organic following. So funny video, skits, memes, entertainment ideas, right? So this is pretty straightforward for me. I mean, this is like very straightforward. So Gen Z memes, like, literally I would be doing all the, like, brain rot memes and everything. And, I wouldn't go overboard with it, but I would do a few, right? Just enough to get some Gen Z followers. And I'd somehow make it related to real estate, right? I would maybe also do some skits like what buying a house is like in 2025. So, like, one of the biggest things that Gen Z relates to is just like how absurd house prices have been. So what I would do is like my parents buying a house versus me. And, like, the jokes that, like, your parents, like, oh, they work at McDonald's for like 2 months and then they got qualified for a mortgage and then they got their mortgage of $255 a month. And that, I would do that versus me, where it's like, okay, you make 180K a year and you still can't get qualified, right? So, like, memes like that, like funny stuff like that. And then we'd also do like local guides and market update. I'm gonna skip informative videos for now because I'll get to that. And then local guides and market updates. This is straightforward. So I would do this like one per month. Maybe like a market update, local guide, very simple, very easy post, and show your face in this. I would show my face in this, and I think I'd do it, relevant to the location. So, we talked about how we would be focusing primarily on, like, where was it? Like, primarily on, like, new construction and townhomes, right? So I would have it so that all my local guides and everything would be of relation to that, right? Like, what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't show those areas at all. So yeah, moving on. Informative videos, guides, and solutions. This is the bulk of your work. This is how you are actually going to nurture your audience. Now, this whole method, this entire method I'm about to go around, relies on you successfully nurturing your audience. If you can't nurture your audience, so if your audience does not trust you, it's going to be so hard to win them over. You can send them as many DMs as you want. The goal here is to passively be able to generate leads. And to passively be able to generate leads, you need lots of videos, lots and lots of videos where you actually provide value. So the video you're watching right now is a video that provides value. Chances are you're watching it. Maybe you're watching it because you found me on YouTube, but there's a good chance you're watching it because I sent you this link or you clicked on this link from my Instagram and you are a prospect to me, right? You are a potential client to me. I'm providing you this value. If you don't work with me, great. It costed me nothing to make this video. If you do work with me, great, because this video is what is nurturing you into working with me, right? The hope here is, being transparent, that you're going to pay me a couple $1,000 and I'm going to record a lot of great videos for you and help you build this system within your real estate page, within your real estate brand. Now, this is what you're doing the same with people, right? The hope is you're going to provide them value. You're going to teach them how they can build their credit. You're going to teach them how they can invest. You're going to teach them about, types of homes that they can buy at their age, right? Or like whatever, right? And based on those, you're going to provide enough value to where they're going to say, oh my God, when I'm ready to buy a house, I need to work with this guy, right? So in my case, I just discussed what I would do. So, if I was a Gen Z realtor, I would be like, how to build credit young, right? Like, how to buy a house in 5 years if you are 23 years old, right? Like, even just like more specific, like, how to buy a house while making 60K a year, right? I would break down like exactly, how much money I should be spending as someone making 60K a year, how much I should be saving, and how, like, if I save for X number of years, I can buy a house after it, right? All these videos, informative videos. And basically, the key to the informative video is mention and solve their pain points. So, I literally, a good idea, right, is to figure out. You can ask some of your old clients if you have some clients that, match this branding that you're already going for, or if you're starting off scratch, then talk to other realtors maybe and figure out what is this audience's pain point. And this is what we mentioned here, with who is your audience and what do you need help with, right? What is Gen Z's pain points? Try and list every single issue Gen Z has, right? Some issues might be related to real estate, some might not be related to real estate, some might literally be like, I can make a video saying, hey, Gen Z, like most Gen Zers, are struggling to pay their bills. And the reason why is this. And then I'd proceed to explain how most Gen Zers are doing things wrong. They're renting for too long. They're not buying a house. They're not leveraging investments to be able to, make to be able to be financially free, right? They're spending too much on DoorDash, right? Solving their problems, mentioning their pain points and solving their problems. That is what you want to do with these informative videos. Okay, finally, your ad. Your ad follows a certain framework. You need to follow this framework exactly when running an ad, right? And this framework is a tried and tested framework that we're going to follow when creating this ad, and it works. I've used it on hundreds of agents, and it works very well. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with a hook. We're going to have a clear message. We're going to have a mention of location. And then we're going to have the call to action or the offer. And we'll go into that last. So if you've paid attention so far to this video, you'll notice that these four kind of look like these four, and they are those four. So what is your hook? So your hook needs to be the first 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds to give a good hook. And it needs to be something that is either funny, entertaining, creative, unique, or just something that's weird even, right? Like something that is going to stop them from scrolling, right? Like if you're scrolling through, you have like 3 seconds to catch someone's attention because they're just so, like, especially Gen Z, because we're so we're all over the place, right? So something that I would do, maybe what I would do, if I was doing like creative slash entertaining, I would do like an agent. I would make myself like appear. And okay, so hang on. We're gonna backtrack. So for your ad, my recommendation, obviously you don't have to follow my exact recommendation, but I would strongly suggest this ad is the one that you spend money on. So this is the one, if you're going to spend money on anything, obviously you have to spend money on running it, but I would spend money on actually shooting it too. Like I would hire a professional videographer to shoot it. So going back to this, creative slash entertaining, I would do like an agent disappear slash appear. Like I would make myself appear in thin air, and obviously you kind of have to, ooh, I spelled that wrong. Disappear. Anyway, I would do like a special effects CGI, something like that, or I would just do a funny hook, right? I would do something like maybe maybe somebody crying and they say, I will never afford a home, or maybe even like someone like a really old guy that's like 100 years old, and he's like, finally, I just bought my first home. It's like a guy in a beard and he's like, finally, I just bought my first home, right? Something funny, just something to catch your audience's attention. That's your hook. Next, you want a clear message. So your message is a few things. It's who you are, right? What you do, and what you solve, right? So the way I want this to be organized is mention their pain, right? So what is their pain? What is the solution? And what is the outcome within this, right? So in this case, the pain is Gen Z can't afford a home, or I would even say Gen Z is broke, right? We are broke as Gen Z. And what is my solution? Well, investing in real estate is the method of passive income. And what is the outcome? Well, if you follow me, I will teach you step by step exactly how to invest for free. Great, right? So what is my pain? What is my solution? My outcome? My pain is that Gen Z has no money. We're broke. My solution is investing in real estate, generating passive income. And what is the outcome? You'll learn. I guess teaching you step by step is the solution. So you'll learn is the outcome. You'll learn exactly how to invest in real estate for free. Mention the location. So this goes back to the location. So Tampa, Florida. And then obviously, if you have a different location, you do a different location. You can even just say Florida in general, but mention the location still. And then the call to action. This is your offer. Your offer needs to be a no-brainer offer. So what do I mean by that? I basically mean this offer has to be so good, people will be dumb not to follow you. So either it can be something like, hey, I will let you download this free guide, or it can literally be, I have a 60-minute step-by-step video showing you exactly how you can do this. Like, for example, this video, right? So that can be your offer. So just say something like, DM me the word ad, or not ad, well, mine was ad, but DM me the word, so if I'm a Gen Z realtor, what do I say? I'll say, like, DM me the word, like, I don't know, like, you could even do, like, a funny thing, but you could say, DM me the word, like, invest, and I'll send you a full video breakdown. And you can record a video just like this, or you could have like a buyer guide, seller guide, something like that, but something super specific, and try to make it like unique. Because like I feel like so many agents nowadays are just doing buyer's guides. You'll get a buyer's guide, you'll get a seller's guide, you'll get a free home estimate. Like that's nice, it's good, and it works. Don't get me wrong, it works. But like for me, like if I'm a Gen Z audience, like Gen Zers, we don't read guides, we watch videos, like we watch TikToks, right? So I'll send you a freaking like YouTube video. You can watch it. You can learn from it, right? This is how I would brand myself. This is the branding section of this video. We're about 30 minutes in. Thank you so much for still watching and not leaving me. So we're going to continue in the video. And now I'm going to show you guys the exact funnel system that I would set up as this agent with this brand. So what I encourage you to do, by the way, if you haven't already, subscribe to my page. And you can always also shoot me a message on Instagram if you have any questions at all. My Instagram is at @sellfastphoto. You probably already know that. But I want you to also download this guide. I'll link it in the description. You can download the clear version of this. I'll take out all my text. You can download it and you can take a look at it and fill this out yourself. You can continue on, fill this out yourself, but we're going to keep going. So how would I record all these? Well, I get some equipment, some basic equipment. I'd get a DJI Osmo. This is just, you can mount your phone onto it and it'll just stabilize your video. This is great for talking head videos, right? You're not going to be, realistically speaking, especially if it's your first year, you're not going to be dropping $30,000 hiring a media agency to record every single one of your videos, right? Obviously, I strongly, and I mean genuinely strongly encourage, and I'm not just saying that because I am a media agency, work with anybody, I don't care. I strongly encourage to record your ad professionally, but everything else you can record yourself, right? But the thing is about recording yourself, you still want it to look a little good. You want it to look respectable. So DJI Osmo, I think this is like 150 bucks. I'm not going to go to link now, but I think it's like 150 bucks. If you really want an upgrade, you can get the Osmo Pocket, which is actually a camera. Like it's not just your phone attaching, it's actually a camera. I think that's like 700. To be honest, I don't think that's worth it. A ring light to have good lighting. You can take this with you. It's portable. And then also, if you want, like it's kind of overkill, but you can get a drone. That'll help you too. If you're tech savvy, get that. If you're not, forget about it. I would set up a CRM system, which we'll get into in just a second. I'm going to break down the exact lead funnel that you need to follow when setting up your brand. But you need a CRM system. Go High Level is my personal favorite, but it's not made for real estate. So Bold Trail is one that is made for real estate, but you can use Go High Level as a realtor. It's just whatever you prefer. Video editor, you can use a website like Upwork or Fiverr to find yourself a video editor. Just do basic edits. Usually you should be paying somewhere between $10 and $15 per video to edit if it's basic. And then other tools, CapCut, if you do want to edit the video yourself, CapCut is great. And then Manus, it's basically ChatGPT on steroids. If you think ChatGPT is good, Manus is way better. It'll help you with scripting. It'll help you with actually answering these questions, right? Like if you need help, like figuring out who your audience is, what they need help with, all that stuff. Manus AI, game changer, amazing. You'll love it. All right, so these are some of the equipment that you're going to be needing. And then this is going to be your workflow. So let's jump right into that workflow. Let's talk about it. So starting off, we're going to do a follower ad. So what is this follower ad? Well, this follower ad is this right here. It's the ad. It's going to follow this three-part three-step or four-step, I guess, game plan, right? And when it follows this four-step game plan, basically it's going to be an engaging and uniquely made ad. It's going to generate prospects and it's going to be presented locally. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to run this ad locally within Tampa Bay, right? Or within whatever location you're at. But if you're at Tampa Bay, obviously within Tampa Bay. There are some restrictions on real estate related ads. So you can't run it like super hyper locally. Like you can't run it like, just a neighborhood or just a small area. I think it has to be like a 15-mile radius, but not a problem because Tampa's huge. And then you generally want your highest budget to go to this. Like if you have a total, like let's say you're starting this business off the ground and you determine that you have like a $5,000 marketing budget, I want you to spend at least $1,000 shooting that ad. And then I want you to spend at least like 2K running the ad. Like that 2K is going directly to Meta. Generally with ads like these, I recommend agents to have either like a $10 to $20 per day ad spend. And if you're not getting any results whatsoever from that, then you probably have a bad creative or you messed something up big time with running the ad. So $10 to $20 a day should get you results. Any less than 10, I would never do. Any more than 20, you can do. But if you did mess something up, you're going to blow through your money quickly. If you're confident with the way you recorded your ad and everything, then I would definitely recommend 20 or getting closer to 20, but 10 is good to start off with just to test the waters. You also don't need to do one ad. You can do multiple ads. And that will bring us to retargeting ads, which I'm actually going to talk about later because it goes down to there. But alongside this main follower ad, this ad's going to generate you followers. You want to also set up a retargeting ad from the followers that this ad generates. So everybody who followed you from this ad and just follows you in general should get retargeted and marketed to. But we'll get into that in just a second. So how are you going to basically post on your account? So these are just your organic posts. So those are all of these, right? So about 10% of your posts should be memes or funny posts. This is just to establish engagement, just to make people engage, make people like your posts, follow you from their explore page, just funny skits, anything just funny to watch, right? And then I'm going to skip that for now. And then 10% should be your market updates once a month. Do a market update. That's it. Done. And then 30% should be testimonials. This is actually huge. I didn't mention this prior because this isn't something you can set up prior, but rather this is something you get post transaction. But every single transaction you do, and even if you don't do a transaction, you just help somebody, you give them a guide and you become friends with them and you meet up with them, have them record a testimonial. Say, hey, this guy's awesome. Like this guy helped me with X, Y, and Z, right? Testimonials are great because they establish trust. You want 30% of your page to be testimonials. Ideally, all of your highlights are testimonials, which I just realized I didn't write highlights here. I'll write that, but all of your highlights should have testimonials, right? So you should have multiple testimonials within your highlights. So main amount of videos on your page are going to be these talking head videos. So what are these talking head videos? Well, they're these that we discussed right earlier, right? Informative videos, guides, and solutions. Solve people's problems. Mention their pain points and solve their pain point, right? If you're a weight loss coach, you say, hey, are you fat? I will make you skinny by doing this. If you are I don't know, if you're a pressure washer, you say, hey, Are your driveways dirty? I will clean them by doing this. But if you're a realtor, then you say, hey, is your issue X? Like in my case, it's you're broke because you're Gen Z. I will solve that by giving you a step-by-step game plan to how you can stop being broke by investing in real estate. Boom. You give them value, right? Value, free value. You give them as much knowledge as you have. These are so easy to record. You take your ring light, you put your phone in the middle of your ring light, and you just talk to it the way I'm talking to my computer right now. You just talk and talk and talk, and then you send that to your editor. Your editor chops it up, adds captions, you post it. Don't go for perfect, go for done, right? That's a big thing. Don't go for perfect, just go for done. These need to be all of these need to be in the form of, they can be reels, daily story posts, carousels, which are just like swiping like photo posts, collaborative posts where you invite, somebody else to repost with you, and also highlights, right? They don't all have to be each of those, but like you need to have all of them, if that makes sense, right? Okay, what's the next step? So we got an ad going. We got followers coming in, and these followers are being nurtured through these organic posts. So what else do we have to do? I didn't mean to do that. What else do we have to do to be able to actually generate leads? Where do the leads come in from? Well, this is probably the most important part of this whole funnel. I think the ad's fairly important, but without this, all you're going to have is followers. You're not going to have leads. And that is actual DM nurturing. I want you, every single person that follows you, I want you to shoot them a text or even a voice message or even a video message. People love video messages because they know it's you, and say, hey, and say their name. Like, look at actually, let's backtrack for a second. This is not about selling to them. This is about making a genuine connection with them, right? The goal here isn't, okay, when are you going to buy a house from me? When are you going to, help me with my commission? It's knowing who they are, what their problem is, understanding their problem, right? Which is this whole thing that we talked about, like understanding your audience's problem. What is their specific problem, right? Are they 21 years old and just got married, or are they 28 years old and they are not yet married and they're trying to come to Tampa to find someone, right? Like, are they trying to live in, are they trying to upgrade their house, or are they trying to get into their first house, right? Have they never bought before? So whatever their problem is, your job is to solve it and understand it first to be able to solve it. So thanks for giving me a follow. Are you interested in buying or selling a home, or want to learn more about XYZ? So this is mostly if, like, let's say they followed you from that ad where you mentioned, like, or like, let's say they followed you from the ad and they commented like the word, like, whatever word you said, guide. So they commented the word guide or something like that. So then you'd say, hey, you want to learn more about that, right? You can also say, hey, can I send you the guide? So basically what you do is you provide them with the free value. So in this case, it might be this video that I've recorded, but like whatever the value is, you send them that. And what you do is you capture their information with that. Say, hey, I'm going to send you this video. Like, can I shoot you a text as well? Like, can we stay in touch? Like something like that, right? When you get their info, what you can do is, another thing you can do, by the way, is you can set up a landing page within your CRM where they have to type in their like info within there, like their, name and email and phone number to be able to download the guide. This is good. If they don't have a big social media presence. I personally work with realtors, so I don't really have a need to do this because their info is everywhere. So if I, want to qualify them, like if I want to put them in my CRM, I just put them in my CRM. I find their info. I don't need to get it from them. But anyway, my point is, get their info if you need their info and add them to your CRM, right? And then start your follow-up sequence, which you should have set up on your CRM already. If you don't have it set up, you can go to Fiverr and just pay someone like 50 or 100 bucks to like set up your CRM for you. That's like the best way to do it. Or we can do it, but and set up your follow-up sequence, right? So your monthly market update emails, that should be monthly. Don't bug people with that crap. A monthly personalized follow-up text. This should be done by you, not the system. Bi-monthly personalized follow-up call every 2 months. Is that what bi-monthly is? Every 2 months? I think it is. Bi-monthly personalized follow-up call. Give them a call like every 2 months, 3 months maybe. Just touch base with them. Hey, how's it going? How are the kids? How's life, right? And then also a new upload or value offer email. So if you have any other value offers, like let's say they downloaded your buyer's guide and a few weeks later you made a new buyer's guide, or maybe like a top 10 places to buy in Tampa, like that would be a great new upload email. So just let them know, hey, I just uploaded this. Check it out, right? This just keeps on going. This is a cycle. And as this keeps on going, you're slowly nurturing them because they're still watching these videos. these videos, and they're still, getting to know you and all that and getting prepared to buy. And when they're ready to buy, you have these emails being sent to them. You're going to be the first one they're going to see. But what is this arrow going up? Well, once you get their info, once they give you a follow, then you start doing retargeting ads. You can set this up automatically. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I won't lie, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you can set this up through Meta, or we can do it for you, where you have retargeting ads and they retarget these people, right? So what it does is it says, okay, this person interacted with your post and followed you. We're going to show them more ads. And you do 3 or 4 more ads and you retarget them with those ads, right? And then eventually you're going to be able to book an appointment. So once this is all done, ideally, you either book those appointments, disqualify people if they're just like not at all what you're looking for, some guy in, Pakistan, or what you do is you just follow up with them. You add them to your CRM and you follow up with them until they turn into clients. This is a no-brainer. This is a foolproof way for how you can generate leads. And a few other things to remember is what you want to do is you want to use the app called Mini Chat. This is to reply automatically. So when people do DM you the word like guide or whatever, it should just send them a text automatically. Unless you're really good. If you're really good with social media, like you're like chronically online like me, then you can just text them when they message you. But like if you check social media like once a day, you really want to set this up. That way you're not like ignoring people. You want to set up your bio and optimize it, which I can walk you through in another video, but you want your bio essentially to say who you are and what you do, to say all of these things. So have it mention the problem of your target audience, and have it mention that you solve that problem, where you're located, and what you do to solve it, right? And also have a link tree which leads to your free guide. So in this case, it might be this video that I'm showing you guys right now, but like whatever your free guide is, have your link tree link to that free guide. Answer your freaking calls and texts. I can't imagine. Like, this is just the dumbest thing ever to me. How you can be a real estate agent and not answer the phone. Like, it's just absurd. Your job relies on you answering the phone. Like, forget about all of that if you don't answer your phone. So answer your phone. Please answer your phone. And then follow people back, right? Like you're not some like famous, you're not a little celebrity, right? If people give you a follow and like you're talking to them, like you want to show that you're their friend, not just some like hot shot realtor. Give them a follow back. Like stay in touch with them. Like they make a post about their kids, like comment on that post, be like, oh, kids are so cute. Like they post like their wedding, like, comment, wow, beautiful, love the dress. But like interact with these people. They're your friends. That's how you should treat them. This is the step-by-step way. Everything. I just went over everything that you need to know. This is all you need to know. If somebody tells you you need to do something else, you really don't. You can do this, and this is not hard to do. If you follow these exact steps exactly the way I explained to you, I will guarantee you're going to make 100K or more on your first year of doing real estate. It is only going to take you, especially with the ads. If you don't do the ads, you're kind of cooked. With the ads, it will only take you a couple of months at the most, if you're doing everything correctly, to be able to generate your first few clients. That's it. End of story. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to shoot me a text, or you can always give me a call. My number is 904-250-8316. My name is Zeke with Sell Fast Photo. If you have any problems whatsoever, any questions whatsoever, give me a call or shoot me a text. I'll answer. I'm not going to ignore you. And if I want to call, I'll text you and I'll say, hey, I want a meeting. But I would love to help you, and good luck.